Welcome back, everybody, to the Me and Jesse podcast. My name is Mark Pavelich, and away in the Grove, the big sexy, the star of the show, everybody, Mr. Jesse Martineau.
What up? How's it going?
Well, I know this isn't up. Dana White will not be on the show tonight.
No, he's not coming on
because he's not coming on. He's not coming on any more podcasts. It's unbelievable. He walks right off of Howie's show, and he was going to walk right onto ours, but said, "That's it, no more podcasts."
None. He's done.
None.
He's
Zero.
done with the
Done.
podcast.
He's podcasted out. And it's like, that's, I see so many podcasts out there, and people always say, Mark, I love your guys' podcasts, and you guys are really good together, and blah, blah, blah. And I say, yeah, you know what the difference is? There's a lot of podcasts out there, and I'm not going to put down any podcasts, but there's a lot that are just dog shit. And that's the facts. And what happens then is, he probably got caught on a lot of those podcasts and didn't realize he was on those podcasts. And now he's, people aren't prepared. Like, we prepare when guests come on. If I had $1 for every guest that came on the Me and Jesse podcast and said, "Oh, that's a great question. Oh, that's a great question. Oh, that's a great question," or say that to you, and that's meaning because we do research on people, and we make sure we know who you are when you're coming on. Like, the last thing I'm going to tell a person, and if they come on and we go, "Oh, they're doing a movie coming up." We've had guys that are actors on our show. You know what I mean? So, and if we didn't research the movie he was in and just said, "Hey, tell us about your movie," that's a clear indication. That means that you did not watch the movie or prepare for the movie. For the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what are you doing now? What are you doing now? This is the number. No, we should know what you're doing now. And we'll talk about what you're doing now. We should know that. And that's what we do here on the Me and Jesse podcast.
Well, I think now people get so sick of doing these over and over because they just get asked the same question over and over, and it's lame.
Correct.
So, I get it. Like, you freak out. You're like, "That's the last time I'm answering that stupid question."
And that's what he did. So Dana's on Howie's show and just kind of takes the headset off and says, "That's it for me. We're podcasts." And he didn't even start the podcast. He just realized that this is the one I'm going to lay my sword down on, and I'm not doing podcasts anymore. And I was like, "Oh, I get it." That's why, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes you'll see 80% of the time we have a guest, 20% we do not. And 20% is on purpose, because we could have a guest on right now, but it would put you to sleep. And so that's why we can't do that. We have this podcast was built in such a way where we actually handcuffed ourselves into making sure we have guests that can tell you an interesting story. If they don't have an interesting story, we can't have them on.
Right. Exactly. And that's kind of the point there. It's like, we don't want hey, we just gave we gave 110%. That's boring. Let's be real. It's boring.
Yeah, like Connor McDavid. Like, he could probably easily be the worst interview in the history of hockey. and he's literally, when I watch him, I'm like, really, kid? Why don't you say something? Why don't you just say something so off the cuff just one time? Literally, it would go viral, because you would just have to say anything not to your normal, what you do all the time, because you're literally it's like literally watching a ventriloquist act, and he literally just it's so bad. So bad.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. They've been told not to, and so he's just doing the bare minimum for getting his answers and getting out of there.
The days of Sean Avery, we need them back.
Oh yeah,
because we were waiting to see that, but hockey doesn't have that anymore. They really don't. There's no one that has the courage, and I just said that, the courage to really speak their piece. Are you disgruntled? Yes, you're disgruntled. Why don't you tell us why you're disgruntled? But they're not going to say why they're disgruntled. And every time they make one comment about the referee, that you watch a game and we're looking at it going, "Oh my God, these referees are just terrible." And so they ask him after, and they go, "Jimmy, what did you think about the referees?" And he says, because he can't say, because if he says it, he gets fined. And so he doesn't want to lose his money. And I agree with that. So I don't understand why you fine someone for telling the truth.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I don't get why they don't get to say what they want to say, especially when it comes to the officiating, which is horrendous at times.
Horrendous, because the speed of the game is too fast now, and there's 4 officials on the ice, and and we watch the NFL, and we're like, okay, there's literally 22 guys on the field at one time. Now you have a line judge, you have the referee, and you have a line judge on the other side. You have a back judge. So literally, you're watching 22 people move all at the same time, and you have to make a penalty on that.
Yeah.
So So you know what's crazy? They do catch the holding penalties. They do catch those. The pass interference and roughing the passer in the NFL right now is bizarre to me because they make that rule up as they go every week.
Yeah.
It's like what they let go. Certain quarterbacks are allowed to get hit, some are not. You know, it's really weird. It's a weird.
Well, it
thing.
is like one thing that I like about it is that sometimes they'll pick up a flag too. Like one guy saw it different, which they do not do in the NHL.
When did that happen in the NFL though? They literally, you see the foul, you see the penalty, they go pick up the flag and they say there's no penalty on this
Yeah,
play.
because
I'm like,
another guy had another angle, so they come together and talk about it. It's like, hey, I saw this, and they're like, no,
and
it
they
wasn't that.
discuss it. Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm fine with, like, because in the NHL, I know there's times that guys have made the wrong call and they know they did because the other guy's like, that wasn't a thing, but they're never gonna pick that up. They're never gonna
Call it off.
Yeah, call it off.
See, and I think the speed of the game now, Jesse, I think you have to do it. You do have to discuss it because it's so fast now that it's super hard to like on television. We can see it way easier because we're watching it from above, right? Or from this, we're watching it from the perfect angle. Then they literally give us 10 different angles to watch it from. So it's easy for all of us at home to go, oh yeah, that was the slash. You know, because we're watching it from 10 different angles.
Yeah,
They're
we
not.
see the replay in slow motion a million times.
That's
too.
right.
Yeah, absolutely, and they don't get that quickly, so they have to make it quicker, I guess. But still, I don't know why we can't. You know, we're in a time where we could actually like check these things properly.
Well, baseball's trying to do that. And
yeah,
they're trying to do that, and we'll see if it works. But they're trying to speed up the game because they realize that their demographic is now dying.
yeah,
So they need to, like, the young kids don't want to sit in a baseball stadium for 3.5 hours. You know, you understand, like professional sports, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. That's it. After 2 hours and 20 minutes, you're now getting into the cricket world.
yeah.
And if you get into the cricket world, one of those games takes literally 3 days.
Yeah,
And so it's not going to work. You literally, you have to feed people in a TikTok fashion, and that'll work. Like the first person that invents a sport that takes 10 seconds and is super exciting, you're going to make a lot of money.
Oh yeah, if they figure it out. Like, absolutely. But I think there's sports that are in right now that could probably do it. It's just they're still not, speeding it up that way.
Well, look at golf. You're watching a round of golf. The telecast is 4 hours long.
Yeah, it's long.
It's like people even that love golf, they watch golf so they can sleep on a Sunday.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, I'm going to watch golf so I can doze off. And then you wake up and they're like at the last few holes and you watch it and you're like, oh, this was exciting. No, it wasn't. If you sit and watch it from beginning to end, you will definitely fall asleep. Just like most baseball games. If you sit and watch a baseball game from beginning to end, chances are if you're over the age of 30, you will find some time to sleep during that game.
Oh, absolutely. That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
It
is the point. Yeah.
It is the point. But baseball too, like, especially on TV, like they got to do something. I don't know what they can do. I don't know what you can do at this point to try. I have no idea. Only thing I can think is that they have to do it outside of the game.
Okay, when was the last time you watched a full baseball game and not
on
Blue
TV?
Jays and not Blue Jays in 30? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when was the last time you watched a full baseball game?
Man, it probably was in Blue Jays or in the playoffs.
Okay, well, there you go. That's what I'm saying. Last time I watched it was when I went to when I watched the Tigers play in real life at the stadium. And when you're watching it live, it's much different because there's shit going on. You're eating a hot dog, you're having a beer, it's
talking
whatever.
To people like
yeah.
Event.
So and there's funny people in the audience all the time making you laugh, so it's good. But outside of that, it's like, Blue Jays made the playoffs last time. I think was the last, because you're like, it doesn't go, and it's like that's why MMA has done so well, is because it's a 15-minute fight, which is great. Then it's over, and then there's another 15-minute fight, and then that's over.
Yeah,
and then. So it's these triggers that go 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So people are okay with that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that is a big thing, and you see it when you look at like something like F1 and its crazy popularity. It isn't because of the race has been so good. It's because they did things outside of the race. The
personalities,
the personality is letting people in on that, and obviously the documentary, that does it. And so, again, I don't think that formula is just magic for everyone, but you have to be able to do something outside of the actual sporting event to make it entertaining so people will want to watch it. And not many of them do. Not many of the other sports do. Live is probably the only one that really is.
Well, Live now, and I saw PGA Tour do it the other day. I started laughing. They gave one of the players an earpiece on the 16th hole. And they started asking him questions while he was walking down the fairway.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you joking right now?
Yeah.
Like, are you joking, PGA Tour? This is what you came up with? A little earpiece like this. He sticks it in his ear. Hi guys, what's going on? Oh, how do you think you're playing today? Oh, I'm playing fantastic, and my putting's good, and just no nothing, right? But that's the idea they came up with.
Yeah.
They give you one little earpiece and they ask you a few questions while you're there playing your live round.
Yeah.
That's what the PGA Tour came up with after Live Golf basically destroyed them in showing people what the new generation, how they want to watch golf.
They want to be jacked up, and they are. They're like cheering at holes. Like it is crazy. Like when you look at the difference. But hey, it's a matter of time. Like that these bigger ones do introduce this kind of stuff, I think.
But tennis is going to have to go that route too, though.
Yeah.
Tennis is going to I want them mic'd up. I want them mic'd up from now on. I want F-bombs flying. I want to hear exactly what they're saying to the referee, and that takes it to the next level.
Yeah.
And the players will never do it because they're going to find out that who they really are. You're going to find out who people really are when they're F-bombing every 4 seconds, and you're going to find out who they really are. And that's why they don't want you to mic them up.
No, they don't want that in any sport because you're going to really hear what's going on. You're like,
correct.
Whoa, that's something else. But it would be awesome. It would be awesome to have
you're right.
Hockey game that was fully mic'd up on a channel.
Could you imagine? Can you imagine?
Gosh. Dude, it would be crazy.
And with no beeps.
No beeps. Like it would be on a channel like, hey, this is unfiltered.
Because you're going to see that. You're going to see the referees swear back at the players. That's a fact.
Yeah.
And then you're going to see the players swear at the referees. You're going to see that the coaches swear at everybody. And you're going to see that. And literally, I would have to say the over-under on F-bombs during an NHL hockey game, if all sides are mic'd and the referees are mic'd, would have to be at least 200 to 300 F-bombs.
Oh, easily. Yeah, there's not even a question. The some guys might get to that before the first intermission, but but it is like you watch some of the documentaries when they were doing we went and watched the HBO ones when they did the ones did, and they remember Bruce Boudreau.
World record. He set a world record. He would
go off on those things, but it was awesome. It was amazing to watch, and it actually got another level in, which is what I think that. Why not do more of that? Like, why not try to keep going on that thing? Because that's what everyone wants to watch now.
I totally agree. I don't understand. I don't understand why you don't see the success of what F1 did, and why you're not duplicating that. It's like they literally gave you a blueprint on what to do, and you're not doing it.
Yeah, and I think the other, but maybe that's a European influence. Maybe that's something that they're finally, in North America is a little slower to adopt that kind of stuff. Usually we let a lot of things, but when it comes to TV and stuff, not really. They push the envelope a lot quicker there, and you look at the things that they have. It's like, oh yeah, it's a little more interactive than we are.
Well, F1 when they did it, Drive to Survive, I couldn't believe how open they were. Like I really couldn't.
No, it's shocking.
I could not believe it, and that was the hook. The hook was, oh, wait a second. Like I never liked Max when I didn't know who he was. And then I watched him and I was like, oh, now I get him.
Yeah.
Like he is different, and he's different for a reason.
Yeah.
And now I know why he's different. So these are the things that people you would never know if you just watched the race every Sunday.
Right. Did you watch I binged the whole season yesterday.
You're joking. The whole entire thing?
The whole thing.
One shot.
Wow. 10 episodes. So yeah, it was long. It was all day. It was a whole day event. But next week, the first race, so I had to get it in.
Yeah, I'd like to spread it out. I enjoy it that way. You know what I mean? It's like I watch 2 episodes at a time, and then I wait the next day and I'll watch 1 or 2 episodes, and
Well, I get it. It was a lot, but
my Mercedes is in big trouble though. They're just such
they're
trouble.
in trouble.
They're just
no more Lewis.
So much. No, which is okay.
Well, after this year, but
is he racing this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's weird how they do it. They do that in soccer too. Like Oh yeah,
like
after this season they're gonna go, and you're like, really? That's weird, but yeah, that's how they do
like
it.
he announces his retirement, but he's doing one more season. So when he goes to every city, it's like his last time in Monaco racing. It's
As
his last time.
Mercedes, yeah,
Yeah, that's why they do it.
yeah. And then then Ferrari's gonna get it, and there'll be a new car that year. There's a new car after this season, so I think maybe it's 2026.
That's always the shakeup. The
Yeah,
shakeup
they
is
do
when
that
they
on
do.
purpose
Yeah,
to try to keep it going. But with like new teams coming in and stuff, it'll be good. Like Red Bull's gonna run away with it again this year, but
yeah.
it'll be something else when it does change. I think that's 2026 actually, when they're going to be half electric, fully half electric.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. So they're saying
I can honestly say this for all the electric car people out there, they're trash, and I'll tell you why they're trash. I know someone that has the Tesla,
yeah,
$300,000 Tesla.
yeah.
He said he was driving from Scottsdale, Arizona, back to Edmonton, and literally the car braked when he was going 180 kilometers an hour.
Oh yeah.
The car braked in the middle of the highway multiple times, and and I don't know. And I saw a video the other day of a Tesla braking in the middle of a tunnel, and 20 cars piled up behind it, like it just randomly stopped. My gas car has never stopped randomly, and if it does, I'm allowed to coast to the right, and I can kind of get out of the way.
Yeah.
And that's from running out of gas or whatever the case may be. And I just think this electric whole this crap that they're selling to people is such bullshit. And I initially thought, yeah, I'm going to get an electric car. And then the more stuff I've seen and people that I know that own them have basically told me the truth about them, it's not happening.
Yeah, well, the self-drive thing, I think, is still. I mean, there's lots that work, but sometimes if it doesn't, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Like it works right now, but if it doesn't work, 300 kilometers into it, and you veer onto the oncoming traffic, that's a problem.
How did we start talking about electric vehicles? Oh, F1 going half electric.
F1, yeah. Sorry, because
that was quite the
but
rabbit trail.
I'm so anti-electric vehicles now. Moving forward, it's like I'm not doing it.
Well, F1's going to be doing it half, and then I forget how they're working it. I don't think they'll ever be able to go fully electric. There is a Formula E series which is fully electric. It's goofy though. You can like vote in, and like they can.
Is it super quiet? Is it super quiet?
It sounds weird. No, it's not quiet, but it sounds weird. Like UFO is flying, and then they can drive through certain areas that give them like boosts and stuff. Like a video game.
Oh my God. What are we doing, man? What are we doing?
So I don't know. But they're trying stuff on that, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Hey, we'll be right back, everybody, on the Me and Jesse podcast.
Get ready. It's time for the Me and Jesse podcast with Mark Pavelich and Jesse Martineau. Get ready. It's time for the Me and Jesse podcast with Mark Pavelich and Jesse Martineau.
Yes.
Well, yeah, electric vehicles suck. Anyway, but
yeah. Well, I know so many people that are geeked up about them, but like I said, I know some people with like expensive Teslas, and they just said that the weirdest stuff goes on with that car. And I don't know about you, but I don't know if I want to be going 160 kilometers traveling and it just breaks in the middle of the highway.
I guess so. Just full on brake, and then you just you're to the mercy of it. Yeah, but you don't have to use the self-drive thing. You can just drive yourself.
Correct, but I don't know why that did that, and I don't care. But I know people firsthand. like there's people on my street that have the
Yeah.
real expensive Teslas, and they swear by them too. They swear by, oh yeah, they're awesome, they're great, but I'm like, I don't know, man. It's
Yeah.
not for me.
Well, I think we should drive the gas ones. They're cooler anyway.
Yeah, it is cooler.
I like it. Actually, one of my favorite shows was Top Gear, the British show,
Oh, yeah.
and then with Jeremy Clarkson and stuff. But they switched it over to Amazon a number of years ago. But they just released a new documentary too, driving through the Sahara Desert. But
Oh wow.
yeah, it's amazing. Like I mean, if you've never watched those shows, like you really need to. And I mean, I'm super into like motorsports now, so it's yeah, they're always entertaining and great. But I think that's the thing with TV in the UK. They've always been more, and it goes into sports too.
I agree.
They've always been better at storytelling. They really have, and they don't care if they like spend like years between shows to like build and write it properly. Where in North America, we do like every single year 25 episodes, like get them all out as fast as you can. It's like, okay, but that's how we take our sports too. Like the sports here, we just kind of like shove it down everybody's throat and hope that works. But in the UK, you're switching to a different thing because they are trying to sell new things. That's the other thing too. They're trying to diversify. We had Emily Fraser on, remember, 9 Ball?
Yes.
And they're trying to do different things that matter to people over there. And because at one time those sports
and it
were
looks
really
good.
big.
And if you've watched Emily lately, they're smashing it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Smashing it.
Because
Smashing
they've figured out a way to do it, and then they're in a fight with some other stupid organizations. But again, it's more about how do we tell and share the story of this versus the actual event.
Yes.
Which I think is I would love for hockey to do that. Why is
No, they're never going to do it. They've never done it. They're not going to do it. They're it seems like hockey guys are the best guests on our show only when they don't play in the NHL anymore. You can watch anybody that's plays in the NHL, not so great, and the people that play that don't play in the NHL, they have no problem talking on our show. So
yeah, well, I think that's it for a lot of that kind of thing. But it goes, that's what has to change because we see it works. We see it in other sports in the UK that it does. They say what they want and it works. It doesn't cause crazy things. In fact, it makes it better. And what happens when you like watch a fight that they're trash talking, or the odd time in a hockey game that someone says something, the next game everyone watches because this guy said this thing last time.
Yeah, they're waiting.
They're waiting for it, and well, why not capitalize on that? Like, tell them.
What's funny?
Shut up and not
Do you remember when my dad was on the show? My dad's turning 90 on March 12th.
Yeah.
Okay. There's so many people that have approached him about writing a book.
Yeah.
And I said, Dad, you need to have a book before you pass because you're 90 years old, and my dad will probably live to 140. You know what I mean? So, but what I'm saying is you imagine. Even now, he will not write a book because he's scared to hurt anybody's feelings.
Yeah, I think that has been.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense because.
Yeah, but that was a different generation. I get that. I get it to a certain degree, but that time's over now in terms of what's going on today.
Yes.
So
but
why not just say it?
I said, Dad, what's the repercussions for a 90-year-old man?
Yeah, what are they going to do?
That writes a book that's 100% factual.
Yeah.
And you're telling the truth about people that no one ever told the truth about.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds like it would work to me.
Oh, 100% it would. Why wouldn't?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's going to say some stuff that like is wild. But it's what happens. And that's the thing. Like people don't really. I think people just want to hear more of that kind of stuff than they ever used to, and they're fine with it.
I do.
Yeah, I think so. And why not? It does sell. And if you're trying to make especially if you're trying to get your sport into another market, you can't just like think that what we did here is going to work there. And so that's what I think they're doing with the NFL. Like, they put it in Germany and stuff like that, and it's people like it, but it doesn't catch on because they're not doing what those people are used to doing. They're used to hearing the stories. They're used to hearing you're going there once a year. Like they go to England once a year, they go to Germany once a year, and they go, oh, here, you're going to love NFL football. Oh, I don't think so. I don't think that's enough. Yeah, exactly. It isn't. Man, I don't know. I think they really have to do a better job of of sharing the behind the scenes part of things.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody wants it. Everybody wants to see it, and I think it just has to happen sooner than later. Because in all honesty, like some of these sports have lost me. Like hockey's lost me. Like I sitting
It's
through
tough.
a whole game, like it's
No,
the same thing over and over and over again. And
my Red Wings put it on your Calgary Flames.
I was
You were
at
there
that
to watch.
game.
I
Yeah.
know. You were there live.
I was. The guy that threw the octopus on the ice was right beside me. And
No,
yeah,
really?
yeah. Well, right, like on the aisle, he ran down and threw the octopus on. I was like, well,
Did they throw him out? Did they throw him out?
I think so.
Oh, not cool.
That was 5-0. He didn't care.
Yeah. I was watching, going, "Oh, that's awesome," and I knew you were there too. So
Yeah, I was
like,
there.
"Oh,
So
great."
yeah, you know.
So what were you doing in What were you doing in Calgary?
Oh, just hanging out.
What a cool city.
It is actually good. I hadn't got a lot of chances to explore Calgary too much, and I got to, for sure, one of the nights, and it was great. Checked out a bunch of different places. It was awesome.
Food wise, incredible.
Yeah, I was impressed. Really impressed.
Incredible.
Yeah, and you know they do it well there. So hey, I'll visit again.
Yeah, I'm in on Calgary anytime because it's I've been a few times last year and it was just fantastic.
Not sure I want to live there.
No, I don't want to live here anymore either. Yeah. I just saw the snow outside.
I know, blizzardy again.
Yeah.
Welcome to Canada, everybody.
It was literally like ready to melt.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden a snowstorm.
Yeah. Nice blizzard to wake up to. Everything drifted in. Yeah, I mean that's how we roll here in Canada. We're like, why are Canadians so tough? Well, we have to deal with this shit all the time.
It's resilient. It's being resilient. Yeah. I think. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, I will think so. It's like, let's be resilient. You know what's funny though? I've been working on this fight card like for unified boxing, right?
Yeah.
And what I've noticed is there's a lot of mass delusional people in the boxing world. And I'll tell you why, because I literally talk to like, you think that hockey moms are bad.
Mm-hmm.
You should try boxing fathers. Boxing fathers think that their kid who's 4-1, 5-1, 6-0 are worth like $1 trillion and they're getting a title fight any second now.
Wow.
And on the female side, it's the exact same thing.
Really?
Girls 5-0, the manager thinks, oh, she's worth like, all this money. And I'm like, that's not how it works. It's very bizarre. Like when if I have a bigger social media following than you do, why would I pay you all this money?
It's actually interesting. There is no real regulation to
there is not
pricing.
So you are correct. So there's not like here's the starting pay, and then this is what you get the next fight and the next. This is all negotiated separately.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
and so everyone comes in shooting for the stars.
Everybody,
and yeah, they they have sometimes a little bit of a delusional thought of what that is.
It's not even a little bit; it's a lot. Like it's like.
So how do you overcome that?
Well, I think it's funny because was in the MMA business for 16 years. So that part still takes place when you're talking to boxing people. You know what I mean? Like it's just that you have to understand like a lot of times, like I don't mind talking to the managers because I prefer that. I don't want to talk to anybody's parents or whatever the case might be. I want to talk to your manager. But everybody has the idea of that if you're 3-0 or 4-0, you're on your way to be the world champ.
It's just not the case.
It's not true.
No.
Not true.
So how do you get them to join? Or you just say, "Oh, sorry, we're going to go."
No, I make an offer, and then in boxing too, they don't like in MMA. It's like, okay, well, how much do you want, Jesse? How much do you want to fight? And you go 20 grand, and I go, listen, my budget's around 12, and you come back and go, okay, Mark, I'll do it for 15, and done, and we're done. Boxing doesn't work like that. It's much different.
Why is it different? What's the difference there?
They have their differences is that they're like, okay, throw us an offer. Okay, $20.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not going to do it for that. Okay.
Yeah,
What's your counter? There's no counter. They want you to get to a number that's in their brain, and you have to guess that number.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. Very bizarre. And I'm figuring it out as I go, but it's like, it's funny. It's funny to watch. It's how different it is than actually MMA. It's very different.
Yeah, it sounds different. But what like when you and is it different than MMA? Because did you do that where you did money to show and money to win?
Yes, and boxing, it's just money.
Yes. No matter what, no matter who
No
wins
matter,
or loses.
yeah, it
There's
doesn't.
not a
No one
bonus
cares.
if you win.
Yeah, no. This is how much it is.
What if you don't make weight?
You still get tagged 20%.
You lose 20%.
You lose 20% to your opponent.
Yeah. Oh, to your opponent. Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
to
yeah,
your opponent.
but there's not like a price to show and a price to win. It's just
No.
here's what it is.
Yeah. Or you know what's funny though? You could actually negotiate that, but no one's done it yet. But it's because that's not how it is in boxing. But literally this weekend, I talked to like 5 or 6 managers, and the amount of delusion when a guy is 5-1, they think that he should make this kind of money, and they're making demands. Like it's not, he hasn't fought one fight yet for the organization, and they're demanding things already. And I'm like, you're 5-1.
Yeah.
You lost your last fight.
Right.
Like you understand in the boxing world, like Mike Tyson was 20-0
Yeah.
when he and 10 of those 20 were homeless people.
Yeah.
Like they were like horrible boxers.
Yeah.
Like that's how it is in the boxing world. That's a very normal thing.
Yes.
Like you can't call a guy who's 10-0 and call a guy who's 11-0 like you would in MMA and say, okay, you two are fighting each other.
Yeah.
And
Right.
because they want to do that. In boxing, they'll never do that.
No.
That's suicide.
Yeah. You have to slow roll it all the way up to the
15-0.
Yeah.
You know, like you gotta get to 15-0. If you can get to 20-0, now you're gonna make some money.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
But these early ones just don't.
No, and it's really super hard to navigate all this, but it's I'm figuring it out, and I'm actually really enjoying it. But it's funny because like people are telling me their kids are 5-1, and they're like, oh yeah, my kid, he's got to be on the TV card, or we're not doing it. And I'm like, I'm not putting your kid on the TV card. Like it's that's how I talk. It's like, yeah, no. So do you still want to fight? Yeah. Well, if someone bumps out, then put us on. And I'm like, no one's gonna bump out, bro. Like,
Yeah.
he's not on the TV card, and
Yeah.
it's like that's how it is. But these people think that that's what they deserve, and it's like, oh, that's not what he deserves. And I think other people have let him get away with it. Now there's a new sheriff in town, and I'm not gonna let him get away with it. It's not gonna happen.
That's right.
No, it's not gonna happen. And it's funny because my business partner's like, Mark, I love it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't I'm the promoter, which means I'm the one that hypes up the show. So that's going to be easy for me to do because I put the right pieces into place. But if you're not, you have to understand, like, what's your value? Your value is like, okay, are you on social media? Are you active on social media? Do you have a following? Do you actually have a following of people? And lots of people do not. They think, oh, people are just going to know who I am when I go there. That's not how it works.
It is actually funny because in the whole world that we live in with social media and influencing, well, athletes are in that too, but there's ones
Correct.
that are better at it than others. I mean, yeah, people put Connor
100%.
McDavid on a commercial and we'll say Connor McDavid's on a commercial, but it's not the ones you remember. You remember Mark Messier because he was funny on all those Lay's commercials.
Yeah.
And it was, you remember those for years. Like that's just how it is.
Hey, whether you like him or not, look at Gronk. I mean, he's killing it on commercials.
Absolutely.
Like there's a lot of guys that have taken their stardom and said, oh yeah, I'm gonna cap in on
And are
this.
good at it.
Tom Brady's doing it. He did.
Yeah.
They did the biggest commercial for the Super Bowl. What was it? Oh shoot, I can't even remember now. But he did it with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. It was for Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah,
Dunkin' Donuts. So they did it for Dunkin' Donuts, and it was great. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. There's some guys that can do it, and there's a lot that can.
Well, it's funny because there's the prices of it too. So there's no, like we said, there's no regulations. So people want this for this, and they have nothing to show for it. Which is, as much as we don't want to talk about this with sports, the business part of sports, and we all know it's a business, but it's evolved too. Like the business of it isn't just the numbers and like building a team. Now it's what can this guy do for me outside of this sport? How much promotion can they do on their own stuff? How big of a personality are they off the ice or the court? And that is something that's worth more now. I think that, like, you know, when you get, like, obviously you need the skill and that kind of stuff, but if they ever get, you know, to the point of being influencers, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And fighters, like, I think, you know, because there's not really, and it is one of those kind of like, it seems like the Wild West a little bit, and like what people get paid and what they don't get paid and what they, you know, it's so, yeah, it's, I mean, right now, nobody has any sort of grid of what works or not, or overvalues themselves. But you must run into people that undervalue themselves too.
Yeah, not that much. You know, like
really?
it's mostly the other way, and it's like I said, it's very interesting because I've been dealing with it since I started in the boxing world, and boxing world is very different than the MMA world, but I see financial gain in the boxing world way bigger than MMA.
Well, yeah, like you look at it still, like the big boxing thing. The problem with the big boxing, the top part of it is that the majority of people don't know what all the WBO, like all the different titles mean.
Yeah, they don't. Right.
Yeah, so you're like, I don't know.
And I think people don't care anymore. So that's why when unified boxing has started, I think that we'll eventually have our own titles, and you'll be the unified boxing champion.
Yeah.
And because I don't think people care anymore if it's WBA or WBC or WBO. I don't think they do, unless you're a heavyweight champ of the world. That's different.
Yeah, and I think that is too. But even in that world is kind of confusing as well.
Well, yeah, that's true, because we don't know who the real heavyweight champ of the world is, because we have Tyson Fury, we have Usyk. They say he's a heavyweight champ, and then there's other guys that are heavyweights that we don't even know their names. They're the WBO champion,
yeah.
And it's like, but we don't even know who they are, and it's like that's how it is now. It's really bizarre, and it's that's the problem. That's why the Paul brothers, when they got involved in boxing, they saw low-hanging fruit, and they started picking it all.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exactly my point, is that they kind of figured something out and made it work. And
you know, that's what I'm doing with unified boxing with my partners. It's like we're going to have some novelty stuff on there. Like you're going to see Kimbo Slice Jr. on the show. You're going to see, and then you're going to see like really good boxers on the show. And you might see a main event with two really good boxers that are not even from this area.
Yeah.
They might be from the States, but the rest of the card is people from the area fighting really good boxers, and then there's going to be some novelty fights inside too as well. But that's the way I want to kind of mix it up. I want real boxing mixed with novelty boxing, and make the show 2 hours and 20 minutes, because any longer than that, people want to go home.
Yeah. You get the benefit of the, 15-minute, whatever round or fights, which is great, because then people keep rolling
run the fights like this. This is how I run them. Once we start, there's no stopping.
Right.
So there's no break. There's no nothing. Just go. And that's how people enjoy it. It's a dinner thing, but at the same time, it's a like, get out, like go next. Just keep the flow going, man. And that's the way I run it. So
absolutely. Well, big announcement from Backscape. Backscape 2.0 is here. And hey, watch this video.
Hey, you've spoken, and we've listened. Introducing the next version of Backscape, Backscape 2.0. This is going to change everything. Not only can you assemble your Backscape faster than a NASCAR pit crew now, but you can take out the shaver and use this anywhere you want on your body. With Backscape, you're not just grooming, you're sculpting a masterpiece. Welcome inside the controls center of Backscape World Headquarters. This is where all the important business gets done. But I want to show you something else.
Hi, thanks for calling Backscape. How can I help you?
Our customer service team here at Backscape is incredible. With great smoothness comes great responsibility. My work is done here. Backscape 2.0 is so easy to use, you don't even need an instructional manual, but we put one in there anyway. Hey, look, it's me. With Backscape, grooming your own back hair and the rest of your body hair has never been easier. So cheers to you, you connoisseur of comfort, you sultan of smoothness. Head over to backscape.com and remember, stay smooth, gentlemen. Hey, you've spoken. And
Well, there we are. 2.0 is
Yeah.
here.
Available now, right?
Available now, backscape.com.
Oh, awesome. So what's the difference, Jesse? Tell
Well,
everybody.
the big thing is I had one right here for this. You can take the shaver in and out really easy. You can use this thing anywhere on your body.
Before it was a little bit tougher, right?
It was a little tougher to put it together and take it apart,
Yeah.
so people didn't bother taking it apart. But now you can, very easily, as you saw from that video.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah,
and it's just Backscape just blowing up.
it is. Yep.
Well, because it works.
That's right. Now with 2.0, it's even better.
There's something about back hair that I don't understand. Like if you're a dude and you got back hair, it's gross. It is. It's gross. It's like, and it's not gross if it's not there. But like if you're walking around on a beach and if you think this is a good look for you, listen, I'm here to educate you today on male. Listen, I've been known as, I would be considered a metrosexual. Okay, there, that's a nice way to put it. Okay, but I tell you, like if you think for any second in time walking around with back hair on is a good look for you, you're an idiot. So I said that, not Backscape, but I'm saying is like that's ridiculous. Like, and also too, everybody, if you're like, I don't have hair on I'm hairless. So I used it for the front too as well.
Yeah.
So you guys sell it for the back, but I tell everybody,
now
I'm like
2.0, that's the point. Now you can use this thing anywhere. You can use it wherever you want.
Correct. And that's so big because I can't stand chest hair. The Burt Reynolds days are over. So I literally like use it for the front, everything, and it works fantastic. And I don't tell people that, there are advertisers on our show, but I'm like, as you know, Jesse, we could have way more advertisers if I actually believed in your product. But if I don't believe in your product, I'm not going to let you advertise on our show. So I tried Backscape and it worked fantastic. That's why when we were talking about it, we were like, yeah, because it's legit.
Yeah. So head over to backscape.com and check out Backscape 2.0. And
mine will be arriving very soon.
It will be.
I can feel it. I can feel it.
Where were we going next?
We were on Backscape 2.0, man, but
right. And then thanks Crystal Glass.
Yeah, of course. Our dear sponsors like Crystal Glass, your clear choice for all your glass needs. Call 310 Glass or go to crystalglass.ca today. Your clear choice for all your glass needs, residential, auto, and commercial glass.
Yeah. And, with all these winters we're getting,
it's horrible.
Yeah.
Feel bad for us.
Yeah. Should upgrade your windows.
Yeah, upgrade your windows. That's right. And shave your damn backs, all of you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's the other thing, too. Well, F1 starts this week. It's a Saturday race, actually, but it all kicks off.
You're gonna everybody can watch Red Bull just clean up the first 10 races. So
yeah, it should be pretty standard unless something crazy happens. But the rest of the field will be good, and we'll see what happens with them. If you like that kind of thing, which I do.
Yeah.
Mercedes might be in there.
Yeah, they'll be in the top 4.
Yeah,
that's
top
their
4,
that's their thing now.
Well,
It's
they
like
pulled off second last year.
We're in the top 4.
Well, they don't want to. Actually, on the Drive to Survive series, actually, Toto, they were so jacked about getting a second with Lewis last year that he was like, "Should we take a team photo?" And the guy's like, "No," and he's like, "No, you're right. We only take photos for first."
That's right.
Yeah.
Who said that?
Toto did.
Toto?
Yeah. He was going to at first, but then he changed. Like, oh yeah, no, we don't take.
Good
photos.
for him.
Because
I thought he was getting soft. In my opinion, I think he's getting soft, and I think Toto might be the problem. So we'll see this year. But I think he was getting soft along the way. And it's funny. Like I understand that Lewis Hamilton is this level here and the rest of the stuff, but you have to play Lewis Hamilton like a fine violin because he's a great driver. But when you let him get all namaste and let him do his own thing and you don't really put it on him, and Toto struggled with that with Lewis. He didn't drop the hammer on him like he should. And that's the difference. Yeah, you're great job. I'm sure that Schumacher's handler dropped the hammer on him. I'm sure Max, his handler from Red Bull, on occasion when the doors closed says, "Max, grab your nutsack, let's roll, come on," and puts it on Max. And Max is not soft, so Max can take that and turn that into win after win after win after win. He uses that kind of stuff. The problem with Lewis is I don't think he's the same makeup. Okay. I think Lewis, if you talk to him that way, he goes into a shell and he's like, he's soft that way.
Yeah. And I think their car was so bad that, there's a lot of things there.
Here's a news flash from Mercedes people. This is why I'm against electric vehicles. I'm not bragging. I've always drove Mercedes-Benz since I've been very young, and I have a CLS 550, beautiful looking car, aesthetically beautifully black. It's sexy, white interior, super sexy car. You know what happens? There's never anything wrong with the motor. Never. You know what's wrong? Go through the drive-through of our, washing our car. All of a sudden, the electrical on the car is all goofy now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this mirror moves by itself now. This one doesn't. The sensors don't work correctly. And it's funny, when you're going through the actual car wash, you can hear the sensors going weird. Like there's something not right. Like they're just going off and they're doing all these things. That's the problem with electric vehicles right there, because everything on my Mercedes works fantastic except for electrical.
Yeah, there you go. Let's take it out. Let's just go right back to the old.
And it works.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and it worked. In a perfect world, I will buy like an old school 1967, Camaro.
Really?
Like something like a car like that it's just a block engine inside, and I'm gonna drive it on Sundays, and it's gonna look really good. And I'm gonna tell any idiot that buys an electric car, it's so overrated. And we're starting to find that out, though. I'm not the only one talking like this. There's multiple people talking like this. So the days, it's not, the hype train is coming to an end soon.
Well, yeah, unless they make us.
And which Jesse, good point, because they made 90% of Canadians get vaccinated, and then they made everybody do these things. And it's like, listen, it's not about that. It's about the choice. So I'm not against vaccines or for them or against them. I have no opinion on them whatsoever, but I do have an opinion that you should have a choice to do it or not. And I've always stood by that. And that's, unfortunately, that's the country we live in now. It's not like that anymore. So when people say, Canada is still the greatest country in the world, everybody, the problem is it's run by absolute buffoons.
There you go.
Absolute buffoons. He was in Edmonton. The Prime Minister of Canada was in Edmonton last week, and the amount of people that showed up for him was like comical. Like it was nobody.
It's not, this city isn't the highest on his approval list.
Correct.
Well, there's a lot of things.
My doctor said I was feeling sick all day,
mm-hmm.
and I went to the doctors, and the doctor said, "Don't worry, Mark, it'll go away." And I go, "When?" He goes, "When Trudeau leaves." And I go, "Okay, perfect." When he leaves the city, you'll feel better. And I'm like, "Oh, you might be right."
Well, from Dana walking off to electric vehicles and why they suck. You're updated today.
You are on the Me and Jesse podcast.
That's right.
Subscribe today.
Hit us on all social media at Me and Jesse, and you'll find us. Until next time, everybody.
Hasta luego.
I'm Jesse. This has been the Me and Jesse podcast. Hopefully some sports pick up soon.
Yeah, this is like the worst time of the year.
It really is.
It really is.
But, well, at least you have us.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Thanks for watching the Me and Jesse podcast. Follow us at facebook.com/meandjesse.